it appears that loser Carrie Lake has already handed the Trump administration a courtroom loss. Huh. Now, Lake, the special advisor to the U.S. Agency for Global Media, see her Senate dreams didn't quite work out because she lost. And her dreams of being governor of Arizona didn't exactly work out because she lost that one a couple of times, several times, many times in court, by the way. So Trump gave her a consolation prize. Go ahead and be the special advisor to the Agency for Global Media. Now, that is the federal parent agency that oversees the Voice of America. Now, Lake was forced to rescind a recent order terminating a grant to something called Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty. So, look, let's be honest about this. This is American propaganda. Of course, right? Nonetheless, they don't even want to keep American propaganda. They think that pro-America propaganda is too Marxist and lefty. Okay. Oh, wow. They've completely lost touch with reality. Now, that said, the news comes just a couple days after the international public broadcaster was handed an initial legal victory over the Trump administration's attempt to dismantle it. Earlier this week, U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth, a Reagan appointee, granted a temporary restraining order to Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty, which is looking to reverse Lake's order to shut off all the funding to the broadcaster. The grant termination came after President Trump ordered the USAGM to eliminate its workforce and activities not required by law. In its lawsuit, RFE/RL, a private broadcaster that gets all of its funding from the federal government, claimed that the agency's efforts to shutter the network were unconstitutional. In his opinion that granted the restraining order on Tuesday, Lamberth signaled agreement with the plaintiffs. Quote, the leadership of USAGM cannot, with one sentence of reasoning offering virtually no explanation, force RFE/RL to shut down, even if the president has told them to do so. He writes, the court concludes in keeping with Congress's longstanding determination that the continued operation of RFE/RL is in the public interest. To which I say,
whoopsie.
Turns out you can't unilaterally shut down things that you don't like. Oops. In order to actually do it the right way, you have to go through Congress. Congress determines the funding. See, if you were a smart person, if you understood how government actually works, how our system actually works, and we're not preoccupied with just burning it all down, then you would try to pursue it through Congress. Okay, that's it. You could do that. But, and you would think, by the way, that Carrie Lake would know that. You think. She did run to become a member of Congress, but, of course, she did lose, and doesn't seem to be a very smart person. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Now, that said, she had sent a letter to RFE/RL Chief Executive Steve Capus, saying that, you know what, for now, we are going to rescind this order. Quote, this rescission is without prejudice to USAGM's authority to terminate the grant at a later date. They're not done yet. If USAGM were to determine that such a termination was appropriate under the applicable law. She also wrote the plaintiff has secured the primary relief, withdrawing the termination of its grant agreement that it requested in the complaint. Now that plaintiff has received that relief, defendant's position is that this matter is now moot. At a minimum, in light of the reinstatement of plaintiff's grant, there is certainly no ongoing, certain, and great irreparable harm that could justify injunctive relief. So basically, she is saying, okay, you win. We were not doing this legally, but don't worry, I will come back. I'll be coming back. This is Carrie Lake's style. She loses in a very obvious way. and then comes back later with another dumb challenge, and then loses that ad infinitum. Carrie Lake is an expert at losing. Nobody loses quite like Carrie Lake. It's pretty amazing. She's an expert. Now, of course, she got a lot of mockery on social media. One says, another glorious loss for Carrie Lake. She never learns. Another says, the only thing this lady is good at in life is stacking L's. Stacking so many L's. Lori writes, Carrie Lake wins at losing. It's the only winning that she does. Tim points out that Carrie Lake's incredible winning streak continues. And finally, Minnie Granger points out she surrendered because she knows that she is going to lose. Well, yes, the judge has already said, yeah, there's you have no right to rescind this contract. So put the funding back, because if you take this to court, you are going to lose. That said, when you are most famous for losing and then whining about it, about how you keep losing, it's pretty hard to see any sort of different outcome from this. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.